Hi, I'm Eddie of Eddie's Reef Korea. Today's video, as you noticed the intro, I'm going to just simply showcase the two recent acquisitions that I got for this 40-gallon, the two corals. I'm not going to go into details. I mean, people that follow me know that I go ahead and every time I get a new coral, I go ahead and I do a little research and I talk about the care requirements. Today, I'm just going to showcase them. I'm just going to show them to all of you out there. But mainly, this video is going to be like, let's say, the update on the Monti-Cap. As people that follow me know that I had to move it because it started to get like pale. So I went ahead and I relocated the actual coral. And then you're going to notice the growth. There's a little piece that fell off. So I'm going to show you the update on that. And also previously, I've talked about if your lights are controllable, how you can go ahead and bring them up, but only on a 5% increments on a weekly basis. So I'm going to show you today how you actually find the sweet spot and stop the raising of the lights, and then how you would follow on that to bring them down from the previous setting. So that's what this video is going to be mainly about. I hope you enjoy it. You find it informative and educational. So let's check it out. Hold on. Okay, so on the Monti-Cap, I'm just going to do a recap in reference to the previous videos. I had it on the, I would say, middle upper left quadrant when I purchased it. And after about, like I say, a few weeks, I noticed that it started to get like pale. And then on this section right there, that you see there, this little section, well, I pried it off. It was actually white. So when that happens, either it could be a bacteria, it could be some kind of a disease. And I went ahead and I did some research. And when that happens on these type of corals, what they recommend is just to just cut it off. Cut that, the section that has turned completely white, just cut that section because it'll actually grow back, And so I did that. But in the process of anchoring it here, because now it's in the middle, little lower quadrant of the tank. In the process of doing that, a little section on the bottom, I'd say around like here, like around there, okay, there, it broke off. So that little piece, I went ahead and I glued it on a little plug that I had. Well, this is the update. If you go back to the previous video, you're going to notice that on this section here, right there, okay, it had turned like a little white, the remnants of when I cut that little piece off. Well, now, after I'd say like about, a week and a half, more or less, that little section that was like a little white, the leftover, that's it, it's completely red, so it's growing back. So that's a good sign that the coral is healthy and it's starting to plate out. Like, this one, that it's a plating, that's its characteristics. That's what it's supposed to actually do. Okay, and now we're looking at one of the sticks that I have, the very few, the Anacopora. Okay, now this is talking in reference to the lighting. As you know, if you follow me, previous videos, I talked about, again, like I was saying previously, shortly ago, that if your lights are controllable, you should bring them up only at 5% increments weekly, so you don't shock the actual corals. Now, this is in reference to not using a par value meter, just by eyesight. So what you do is you go ahead and you bring up the lights, 5%. And then you wait a week and then you look at the corals and see how they're doing, and you ramp up another 5. And you keep doing that. Now, how do you find the sweet spot? Without, of course, using a par meter, and then what's the par value at the upper, middle, and lower quadrant. Well, simple. Every time you raise 5% on your lights, you should start to look your corals, especially the SPS. In this case, I was looking at all the corals, see what's going on, but I did notice that on this Anacropora, this little spot, I'll see if I can show you. Okay, a little on the upper branch, did you see right up here? Right up there, the highest point. Okay, it started to get like a little bald spot. From 1 week to the other, when I raised 5% increments on my Radion XR15 Pro. So when I saw that, I said, wait a minute, hold on. So I went ahead and I went back and I lowered it the 5% that I previously had raised. And this has only been about a week and a half, and look, voila, the little bald spot is completely gone. It recuperated, and the coral is extremely happy. So that's what I would call the sweet spot for the settings on this Radion XR15 Pro. Now, I'm only talking about, when I'm discussing this topic, I'm only talking about the brightness, not the individual lights and all that. I have it on a modified AB+, which means that all the blues and purples and all that are at 100%. Oh, one other thing I thought I mentioned, I did bring up the whites. The whites were up to 3 hours. Now I brought them up to 4 hours. What happens is when you do that, that'll encourage a little rapid growth when it comes to the corals. So I also did that. I brought the white lights, which I had them up to 3 hours, then it ramps down. I completely drop the whites, and then all the blues and purples stay for the remaining of the day. Then it starts to ramp down completely. I went ahead and I also did that. I brought up 1 more hour on the whites and the cool whites, and then of course that little bald spot that I was talking about, that was the indicator that it was a little bit too much. So I went ahead and I brought it down back to the previous 5%. So now what I'm running, still the AB+, but when it comes to the brightness, I'm running it at 55% brightness. And that actually, I did some phone calls and I did some research, and that's actually the sweet spot for these Radions when it comes to XR15 Pro, the 4th generation. When I install the 5th generation, then I'll have to recalibrate. Hopefully it'll be the same thing. But this is what I wanted to bring up when it comes to doing your adjustments. If you feel that you have to and you want to bring them up, but you don't want to rent a par meter and all that, and you do it by eyesight, well, this is what you would actually do. It would bring up the light from the X16 level that you have them, 5%, wait another 5% each week. Look at the behavior of the coral, and look at all the corals. You don't have to look at the sticks, the SPS. Look at all the corals, and when you see that one of them behaves different, like in this case was this Anacropora, and it got a little bald spot, that's it. Bring it back 5%, and that'll be the final adjustment, and you're good to go. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I found it educational and fun in reference to this little update and explanation, informative explanation when it came to how can you detect when it's the sweet spot when you're adjusting your brightness on your lights. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and hit that little notification bell. And like I say at the end of all of my videos, happy reefing. Thanks for watching. And until next time, and then look out for the upcoming videos, which I'll go ahead and talk about each individual new corals that I showcased today, about the care requirements and all that. So, bye-bye. See ya.